You want divorce to be made illegal?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because I don't think what we have today is really marriage. What is marriage? It's for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part.
Divorce is not real. Divorce is not real.
No, it's fake, obviously.
You cannot actually get a divorce. Your covenant is with God. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Red Top Report. I'm your host, Joe Enders, and Ronan's got something for me to react to, something that I have not seen at all. All I know is that Pearl Davis, we got Pearl Davis again, professing Catholic. She professes to be Catholic. I don't know if she's practicing, but she was on like Piers Morgan or something. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I think of Piers Morgan, I think of that Alex Jones interview. 1776 will commence again.
1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms.
Bro, well, yeah, this was a pretty interesting little debate she had on there, so let's get right into it.
All right, cool. Let's check it out.
You want divorce to be made illegal?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because I don't think what we have today is really marriage. What is marriage? It's for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. That's what marriage is supposed to be. But feminists have ruined marriage for the people that actually believe in marriage.
How?
When there's a 50% divorce rate.
Dude, that's, wow, she's going off. Hey, that's good. Yeah, that's correct. I don't even know if I have anything to add to that. Like, yeah, marriage is between one man. It's between one man and one woman, and it is till death do you part. Divorce is not real. Divorce is not real.
No, it's fake, obviously.
You cannot actually get a divorce. Your covenant is with God. It's not with the government. It's not with anybody. When you pledge yourself, when you make your vows are to God. You, the husband and the wife, promise to God. You are you're actually the ones that initiate the sacrament. So for example, when you're getting married, a lot of people think it's like officiated by, the priest. It's officiated by the priest. He's the official there. He's a witness.
Permission to treat the witness as hostile.
Granted.
From the church that witnesses your promise to God. But the sacrament itself is actually done by the husband and the wife. So that's kind of like, this is a good point that she's making right now. I'll just continue on, but yes, absolutely. Fake marriage.
I didn't say that it was all down to the women.
So why feminists?
You asked why I want divorce to be banned.
Yeah.
Can I finish
Yeah.
that first? So I'm saying, the people that believe in divorce, go be in long-term relationships. Leave marriage for the people that actually believe in for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part.
But doesn't the sanctity of marriage also rely on the woman being a virgin? So you wouldn't be able to get married.
What do you mean?
Well, you spoke
Pause.
quite openly.
So is this that Ava chick?
Yeah, she's some sort of like British
British
journalist.
leftist or something?
Liberal British journalist, as far as I know. I don't know too much about
She
her.
started right out of the gate wrong. I mean, there's nothing in Catholicism, at least, there's nothing in Catholicism, which is where we get the Western idea of marriage, which doesn't allow for divorce. We get this idea from Catholicism, and the Catholic position says nothing about you having to be a virgin. It says you should be. It says the moral thing to do is to be a virgin, but it doesn't say you're barred from marriage if you're not a virgin. I've heard that nowhere.
She's trying to make Pearl seem like a hypocrite is what she's trying to do.
It just makes you a hypocrite.
Well, exactly, and I don't understand how that would make sense from the Catholic perspective. I don't even think has she ever said that you can't get married if you're a virgin? Maybe she did. Anyways, let's continue. See if she says anything, but I don't think so.
About how you're not a virgin, and so if you want to preserve that sanctity of marriage, then I just think that you're upholding standards that you don't actually live by.
And that's a fair complaint. I wish I was, but we can't go back. I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah, but I just don't think it's fair that you get to be here and you get to be paid for your views, and you're telling other women that they shouldn't be allowed to.
I think.
Hang on. Find the man you want to get married to. Are you saying you will be with that man whatever happens the rest of your life?
Yes, for the vows that we're supposed to live.
How do you know you can keep them?
Pause.
I mean,
I think she's like leaning back, like, what the hell, guys? What the hell? Like, you literally say that. You literally say that when you get married. What are you talking about? And it is that obvious. And I don't really think they have an answer for it either, because it's like, yeah, that is what you're doing. That's what you're pledging to do. What are you talking about? Holding people to their promise to God, making sure that is done. This is how you keep families from breaking apart, by the way. You know, if you just give people this easy out where they can just go and dissolve something dissolve a promise that they made before God, then their promises every promise they make before God will always be worth less after that point. I mean, good grief. This is about devotion.
Devotion to my family.
And this is a choice that people make. If you choose to engage in the contract, you should be held to keeping that contract. They don't call it a contract anymore after vet. They call it a covenant now because it's a promise with God. So, I mean, yeah, like, dude, yeah, you should be leaning back in your chair, guys, and throwing your hands in the air. Yeah, what are you talking about? It's not marriage if it's not for good. It's not marriage if it's not for good. So, yeah, Pearl, absolutely right again. She's nailing it right now.
I think it's a choice. And that's the thing, like women are so willing to leave marriages because they're not happy. This is not about happiness.
Pause. That's also correct. So you could put up the stat, but it's like 70 to 80% or somewhere in that range of women initiate divorces. So she's right. Women are the ones that are leaving marriages because usually men are the ones with more, resolve, more commitment once they are in a marriage. And so when they're in the marriages, women are actually far more likely to leave when things get a little rocky, when things get rough. And that's probably why they initiate 70% of the divorces. So anyways, continue.
Important thing is the children. And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it, instead of doing what's best for the kids.
Money. Cha-ching. By the way, guys, you need to give us your money.
We just need money.
And you can give us your money by going to buymeacoffee.com. That is buymeacoffee.com. You got to click that link in the description. You can do a single donation, or you could do a monthly Joe for Joe donation for only $5 a month. And we're going to need you to do that so we can keep making this show happen. All right. I know there's more clips, Ronan. You got to show me those clips. She killed it right there. I think that was absolutely 100% on the money. Marriage is a covenant. It lasts forever. There's no questions asked. There's no dissolving it. And before some idiot in the comments goes and tries to, oh, you guys have annulments. Annulments means the marriage was invalid from the very start. And perhaps the parties didn't know that were the case, or whatever it may be. The contract or the covenant never happened because it was invalid from the start. That's an annulment. You were never married. Divorce itself, dissolving what there was a marriage and now there wasn't a marriage, that doesn't happen unless one of the spouses dies. There's no such thing as divorce.
There's no such thing as divorce.
No such thing.
What I don't understand is when it kind of seeps into this sort of, you call women fat, you say that they shouldn't have abortions, you say that they have STDs.
The question is, are they fat? Yes or no? The average American woman is 170 pounds. That's objectively overweight.
I mean, let's be honest. We now celebrate morbid obesity as some kind of body.
Hey, there comes Pierce with the backup. For once, he's looking like the good guy, it seems like. Yeah, I mean, this is a good point. Like, your health is important. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. You need to treat it with respect. And everybody's before everybody's in the comment. Yeah, I know I'm overweight right now. I've been losing weight. Ronan can confirm that I've been losing weight.
He is confronted by two overweight men.
Your health is important. You should care about your health. You should care about becoming better. Now, here's the difference. And I'm going to point this out because I think it actually is a meaningful distinction. I don't want to just leave that hanging out there. Men don't try to pretend that they're fat and beautiful. You kidding me, dude? When I think I'm a fat tub of lard or something like that, I want my friends to go and call me a fat tub of lard. Lose some weight, fatty, fat boy, whatever you want to call me, cupcake. I don't care.
Quiet, fatty, fatty.
We like that. We think that's funny, and we know it's true. When women are fat, it becomes this whole different thing. It becomes, no, I'm fat and I'm beautiful, and you have to believe I'm beautiful. Yeah, why are we playing that game? Why are we playing? Ronan, are you going to play that game?
Not playing that game.
Dude, it's ridiculous. Like, this is why I think Pearl is so fixated on fat women, also because she is a woman, and she talks about men's issues from the female perspective. And she's right. Like, are they fat? And yes, most women are fat right now. And most women need to respect their bodies and treat them as temples of the Holy Spirit. Good grief. This is Catholic teaching. You don't get to be a slothful glutton and just engorge yourself until you're like 400 pounds or, 40 pounds overweight, whatever you might be. You gotta lose the weight, ladies. You gotta lose the weight. It's not beautiful. Men don't find it attractive. You cannot be that way. You cannot be that way. Now, I know there's people that have all these diseases and stuff. That's less than 1% of the population. Stop making excuses and get on the frickin' treadmill.
Positively, and it is complete nonsense. So actually on that point again, there's a bit of truth in that.
And this is the problem. This is the problem.
How have we come to celebrate morbid obesity as body positive? It's nonsense.
We're not talking about morbid obesity. I was actually watching your podcast earlier, and you spoke to someone who was, I would say, probably a size 12, and you called her fat, obese, and a divorcee.
She was fat, obese, and a divorcee.
I
mean, I don't know what to say. This is the thing, women, we don't want to live in reality. We don't want to say things that are true.
Pause.
Was she?
So she's talking about it right there. That's the point that I was just making earlier. Yeah, women, like men that are fat, kind of accept the reality and kind of just, I mean, look, what's it? The Goonies, like do the truffle shuffle.
Do the truffle shuffle.
Oh, come on.
You know what I mean? Like it's just he's fat. He knows he's fat, and he gets made fun of for being fat. But he's still outside. He's moving around. He's doing his thing, that and the other, and he knows he's fat. Women are the ones that say, well, now we need to change society, change our objective, God-given standards of beauty to make people that don't take care of their bodies feel pretty. No, you don't get to do that. It's against Catholic teaching. No Catholic says that you should be allowed to do that. Health. And look, if you still look fat and you're perfectly healthy, then you know what? You're perfectly healthy. But you're not pretty. Fat people aren't pretty. Fat people aren't meant to look pretty. They don't look pretty. This is like a common thing. Fat men don't look pretty either. No, nothing looks pretty when you're fat.
You're not pretty enough.
And if you appear that way, and God doesn't give the gift of beauty to everybody. He might give them other gifts. He might give them intelligence. He might give them whatever skill that they might have to fulfill their vocation. Maybe they're a terrific mother, whatever it might be. But don't pretend that fat looks good. Fat does not look good on anybody. And you're not going to pretend to be beautiful if you're fat or you look fat and you're healthy. It's just not objectively beautiful.
Fat? Yes. Was she a divorcee? Yes. These things are just objective facts.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, look, that's a good point that she was making. And I'm glad that we're having the conversation about bodily health. I'm glad we're having the conversation about all of this because, as somebody who's been losing weight, you do feel better. You feel better about yourself. You feel better you feel better in your daily life. You have more energy. You have, you literally just feel like fresher. You feel more alive and stuff like that with every 10 pounds that you lose. I think what have I lost now? Like 30, 40 pounds, something like that. Yeah, it's something like that. And yeah, I feel a lot better, guys. And I highly recommend that you guys, get to that. Start losing the weight. You'll feel better. Everything will be better. You'll feel better in your faith life too, because you won't feel like you're a glutton. You won't feel like you're a slothful person. And seriously, this is a real discussion, Ronan. Like, those are deadly sins. So, and we got another video, don't we?
Why would you want to remove just from yourself the right to vote?
Well, what happened was I had the same view, right? Back when I started, I was like, why? I found out that only 5% of women wanted the right to vote. And I couldn't figure out, why would women not? No, it's true. It's true. You look it up.
At the time.
At the time.
Because they've been conditioned by men to think that they shouldn't have a vote.
I mean, that's what they say. But, I started reading their writings, right? And what I found out was that the reason a lot of women advocated for it was because they believed it was the beginning of the breakdown of the family. Before you became one in marriage, 85% of people were married. And, I hate to say it, but they were right. What has happened 100 years later?
What's that got to do with them having the vote?
Well, it also goes back to responsibility. Again, men are 80 to 90% of the military. They run all of the infrastructures that make society run. So I just think if we want an equal say in society, then be equal. Do 50% of the hard jobs. Be 50% of the military. In the U.S., they're fined $250,000 if they don't join selective service, which is essentially the draft.
Okay, but specifically on the vote, what would having the right to vote have to do with family cohesion, for example?
Well, because again, before you weren't trying to divide a family. It was one family unit. You had one vote for the family. I mean, I don't think it's good for a family to have two votes.
Ava, your mouth seems to have dropped about.
No, do you know what it's sort of like?
I know.
It's just sort of a bit.
Should we pause it here? I think
like
we should pause it here. So this wasn't argued perfectly. It was argued kind of correctly. Here's the part that she was missing, because she didn't really, seems like she really didn't understand how giving the woman the vote could facilitate the breakdown of the family. And I think what she was trying to say, because I don't think she's like wrong entirely. I think what she was trying to say was that back then, early 1900s, when just right at the beginning of the 20th century, there was a different understanding of society. And that understanding of society was that the smallest unit of society was not actually the individual. The individual had rights. This all started with kind of the United States, the idea that individuals had individual rights. But it's pretty much this idea that the family unit is the smallest unit of society. So families were the things that voted when it came to voting, and the leaders of the families were men. So the idea that women didn't have the right to vote came from the idea that the man is the leader of the family, so the man votes for the family. Now, obviously, the person that advises the man in who to vote for is probably that top person, the one who talks to them about it, the one who discusses that issues with them is going to be his wife. So it's not like his wife wasn't, her wife wasn't enacting her influence over the leader of the family and casting that vote. She was actually probably the most significant person in that. And if she wasn't the most significant person in deciding who to vote for, she should have been, because there should be a perspective, and that man as the leader should be interested in hearing that. He should be interested in listening to his wife on who to vote for. But, this question that she has about women gaining the right to vote and how it destroyed the family, okay? When you have the leader of the family kind of being taken out of that leadership role in the family and giving that vote to every other individual adult in the family. And remember, it's not just the mother. It would be any adult children as well would also gain that right to vote right then and there. The family unit does begin to break down, because what you're saying is that the man does not have headship unless he was telling his wife who to vote for, and that vote was given to that person. Because now the wife actually has the ability to disobey her husband in that regard. And if you guys know Catholic teaching, you're only supposed to disobey your husband when he is in sin. Wives, submit to your husbands as Christ submitted to, or as the church submits itself to Christ. That could be the beginning of a breakdown in leadership of the family. It allows the wife an out to go against her husband, which is not good for families. Families are supposed to be unified. So anyways, let's keep this going.
The stats that you're putting down are perhaps correct in some universe.
Which stats?
They just kind of don't really add up. I mean, just to take you back to the to the women's writings that you've allegedly read. I mean,
allegedly. What do you mean allegedly?
At the time that you're talking about, women weren't really allowed to write. They weren't allowed to go to school.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. That's incorrect. The first female property owner was in the 1600s. The idea that women couldn't work and couldn't.
I'm so sorry, but that would be inherited property.
The first female millionaire was in the late 1800s.
And was that inherited?
No, it wasn't. It was self-made. Yes, it was.
Self-made.
Yes, it was. She was just, yes, she did not inherit it.
What law permitted that? What law permitted that?
Well, there was no law. I mean, there's always been women that were influential in history.
Let's get on to the vote. So what I don't understand is, a part of your message, I've researched you today, and hang on a minute.
Okay.
Your big push is that you care about men and you don't think that men are getting enough of a say. But
hang on,
I haven't made the point yet. Because of feminism, okay? What I wonder is, when you start making calls out like repeal the 19th, women shouldn't be allowed to vote, how is that helping young men? Because these young men have women in their lives, they have mothers, they have sisters, they have teachers, and they turn around, they don't know how to act around women because you're giving them license to be misogynistic.
I wouldn't call it misogynistic.
Pause. I say license to be misogynistic. How is it misogynistic to say that you don't support women voting. That I don't agree with. That's not misogynistic. It's not a hatred of women. Maybe the person that supports women not having the right to vote would think that would make women happier in the country, that it would be better for women. It's not a hatred of women. There's nothing, like, oh, I think women are inferior or anything. If you think that somebody has a different role in society, and that doesn't include voting because they're not the ones going out there and fighting the wars and dying, and they're not the ones that have to deal with all the problems of the world, all those externalities that will affect the family, because the mother is supposed to be at home with the children. She's supposed to be raising the children, cultivating the children, building up the home, because she's focused on those things. The man is the one that focuses on all those outside issues of the world. And though the mother is the top advisor to the husband in figuring out who to vote for, the man is obviously more equipped in that situation to know what's going on in the world because he's out in it. I don't think that that's necessarily misogynistic. I'm sure there's some people that don't want women to vote because they hate women, but that's not even close to everybody. And that's a silly position that she's trying to make right now. She's not making men misogynistic. Not at all.
Be equal. So again, men do all of that. Well, then, okay, I'd love for the feminists, please apply for the oil rigs. Please go do the hard jobs in society. They're open, they're hiring, because I don't I don't think men or women are equal until we do the equal work. So no, listen, go apply to be on the oil rigs, go be a plumber, go be an electrician, go be on the front lines of the military, and then we should have equal rights. But until feminists are willing to do that, I don't believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, but I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be, but I'm absolutely not.
But
you said you're
Pause. So now we're finally recognizing biology on the left. So that's a good sign, guys. So yeah, exactly. You're not physically equipped to do it. You're not physically equipped to go out into the world and fight the battles that men unfortunately have to fight because it's a sinful and fallen world. And this is another thing that I think that they didn't touch on that's important. God, did not, it's not good for men to go to war. It's not good for men to crawl down into sewers and give themselves diseases that'll give them cancer. It's not good for them to go and do electrical work that allows them to that causes them to get electrocuted, or die, or a cop to go on the street and get shot. That all harms men. That's all bad for men. It's almost as bad for men as it is for women to go and experience those things. But as I said, almost. And because it's almost, men having the sacrificial nature that they do have as leaders, as people created in the image of God, are willing to make that sacrifice, that Christ-like sacrifice, to go out into the world and suffer on behalf of another. And that actually cultivates a deeper love, much more like the love Christ had for humanity when he died on the cross. And it's all very analogous, and it all makes perfect sense why men are doing these things. And I don't agree with Pearl on the fact that, oh, why don't you go do this? Why don't you do that? No, never, just never. No, we don't want that at all. I don't need them to learn their lesson. I don't need any of that nonsense, because that stuff is not repairable. It's not. Once you go, if you're on the front lines of war and you come back, man, woman, doesn't matter. You're messed up for the rest of your life. That's not going to teach anybody a lesson. That said, though, there should be a recognition that women are not equipped, and she's already conceded that. So I'm curious where the heck she plans to take it from there. So you just get your cushy corporate job? No.
Said you were a volleyball player, and so you've got more strength than I do. I don't think.
But
I
don't have more strength. I don't have more strength than the average man. I'm not going to take your right away. I don't have more strength than the average man. But again, it goes back to go be a plumber. You want to be equal? Go be equal.
Yeah, I think she argued that okay. I think there was a couple areas where she could have done a little bit better, specifically focusing on why this instance is bad for the family, or why the family unit could be disrupted by giving the woman the vote. And I think that it's fair to say that at the very least, it was the beginning of the process that did lead to the breakdown of the family. Because with feminism came second wave feminism, which meant women coming out of the home, people not having present mothers in the home. And then after that, it turned into third wave feminism, which is whatever the hell that is. Men are women apparently, and women can be men, and there's transgenders playing women's sport, all sorts of weird nonsense that's come out of that. So yeah, I think she did okay. Have you got anything else?
Yeah, that's it, man. We can wrap it up.
All right, guys. Well, that's all we got for this episode. And I think that Pearl did okay in this one. I think she did okay. I think she represented the issues pretty well. Like I said, a couple areas she could have done better. Guys, you got to follow us on Instagram, and you can follow us on Threads, the new thing that Instagram's doing with it's like a Twitter competitor or something.
It's Twitter by Meta.
It's Twitter by Meta, guys, and I think that might be why Musk is ready to throw hands with Zuckerberg right now. Also, you got to follow us on Twitter. And guys, you got to subscribe to the channel. I'm talking about going to YouTube and clicking the notifications bell after you subscribe as well, so you always know when we're dropping new content. And with that said, guys, that's all we got for this episode. God bless.